Hello, and welcome back to the Halo Infinite Grifball podcast. It's Snowplex here, and I have a really special edition for you today. I have the Spring League 24 champions right here with me. I have a Were Mosquito and a Spankatron with me. How are you guys doing today?
Let's go. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm doing good. It's only half the team, but
That's totally fine. I know Infection, he had trouble making it, and I didn't get a response back from Hells. But I think I'm gonna end up working that into an interview anyway, so it should be just fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in here and just congratulate you all for winning in a really hotly contested season. It was a lot of balanced teams out there. There's probably at least 3 to 4 to 5 teams that could have easily been in the championship game and been against y'all or another team. So it was a really tough season. So I just wanted to congratulate y'all.
Thank you. Easy work.
yeah, I mean,
Nothing too crazy.
yeah, but yeah, it was a really good season. I thought it was probably one of the best that I've played in a while
Yeah, same.
in terms of the competitiveness. Like after that first round of playoffs, three of the top four seeds have been knocked out.
Yeah, we're
You know,
we're after we do the questions and stuff, we're gonna touch on that wild ass playoff bracket.
yeah,
We're definitely getting there. But first, I wanted to go ahead and I got some questions for each of you. And first, I'm gonna go ahead and just get into our wares questions here. And this the first one. This is the one you've seen, so it's definitely more of a funny one. But I think everybody wants to know what did you do between last season ending and before this season started? Because it's like there's two of you out there this season compared to one. I don't know what you did, but I want to buy some.
yeah. I mean, last season I was crippled by my teammates in a Spank and Shrek, weighing me down. Um, but last
Fair,
season
fair.
was last season was basically, because I had to run last season because we had Josh who was by far our best runner, but we needed them to tank, and giving Spank or Shrek the ball was just a disaster. Not I wasn't much better last season, but it was something. And obviously, running isn't my forte, and then coming into this season where I could just focus on tanking, and
Yeah,
and it always helps to have a great team around you as well.
yeah,
Like I had,
yeah.
so I was just gonna say I had one of the best tanks in Spank with me. Infection started off the season on fire, and Hells was really good. So that was the key for me. It let me kind of just do my thing.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because the next question is last season you kind of took charge as the fourth and ran the ball, but like you were saying for your team, so no one else would have to do it. And I feel you on not having Josh or Spank run. It's just a waste of tanking power when you have somebody like that run instead of tanking. So the question ties into how great was it this season to be able to just tank and be able to throw the ball back to your runner since you had a dedicated runner. You don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah, it was really good. It was good to have that structure and have a runner like Hells who you can pass the ball off to, and even though they could be frustrating at times, and lose the ball, like you knew Hells is a player where they're going to make plays, they're going to make stuff happen, and it's just great to have that kind of skill on your team.
Yeah, I really just not like having the set runner on my team that I just know who I'm supposed to hold it for and give it to on spawn. It really makes it a lot easier for me. And the next question I have here, well, yeah, I guess suppose this is a question. As far as I know, Ray is the only other player to win an AGLA ship playing in the EU. I believe it was Fall League 15 on the Halo 4 side. Whenever we had a split league, he won that championship. I'm pretty sure you're the second person to ever win that, and then you also made it into the top 25 list of AGLA players. How does it feel to be dominant even though you're at a connection disadvantage?
Well, the funny thing is that I've actually won AJLA championships before. I won an AMI one ages ago.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
with
okay.
with Reyes was actually on the team. I played like one game that season, so I can't really claim it. But that was a long time ago, and I have since coming back with Grifball coming to PC, and that's kind of when I started playing again. Even though I play on Xbox now again, I've won a couple of ships. There was an AMI one where we did the season where we played every game a couple of years ago, and then there was one where I was a 5th on NCOT's team on Halo 3. But it was great to be able to win a season and be a part of it, be part of the team and play every game and have that impact. And it was good to be in the position where people recognised that I was playing well, because it's nice for people to say that you're doing a good job.
Oh, definitely. And this last question I have, this is going to be kind of the fourth question I have for both of you is kind of one you can both answer because they kind of tie into each other. But the last question I have is, you both went to a semifinals berth last season and then got knocked out by KD's team or Mungo's team. So how good did it feel to make it to the next level, like make it to the championship, and not only that, but to win it, not just get there and lose and then wait till next season, but to get there and win it, since obviously you wanted to do that last season.
Yeah, it was really good, and I'll let Spank hop in a second, but the key of it is, well, one, how much we practice. Like as a team, we practice so well. Spank, Hells, and Infection practice loads. I didn't. But yeah, if you look at,
didn't really need to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you look at how much, but I'm sure Spank will say the same about himself as well. Like the improvement that me and him have made as players from last season to this season to help us get to that next hurdle and win.
Yeah, it felt good for me, man. Like the dopamine rush was crazy. It's like I was really confident in the beginning when we won that preseason rush or whatever. But like once Infection did that whole fucking like left the server, and then that mid-season lull we had, we were losing like games we shouldn't have lost, and just doing, I don't know, tilting, I guess. I really thought it was going to be it was a wrap after Infection left the server, because I got flashbacks to season 1. The fucking Skull ghosted me, and yeah, I don't know, man. But then we brought it back. We reconvened. We had like a little powwow, a little meeting. We hashed things out and talked about a lot of stuff and made a game plan and shit. Practiced a lot, and at that point I was really confident, like going into the playoffs. Like, I knew we could beat almost every team. Like even if it was Spence, like if we went up against Spence, I feel like we could have beat that. They would have been harder. In my opinion, Spence would have been harder to play against than Shrek's team. In hindsight, I don't know. That's actually hard to say, but just because they're so wacky and crazy guys,
Yeah, I feel like that your team and their team matched up pretty well. But the only difference being that they didn't really have a set runner. They kind of spread the goal scoring around, and which y'all had some goals too. But I know they were more runner by committee, and y'all used Hells. So I think that's the main difference. But I think going into the season, I know I had you guys number 1 in the top 5 teams that I had in the preseason ranking. You won the preseason rush. I don't think many people are surprised that y'all went on to win the ship, but and so I'm getting to your questions now, Spank, and it's funny that you said that in this last one because it ties right into your first question. After all the shit you went through last season with SCO and all that, how much better was it this season than last season? Having someone else captain, you could just go kill shit and not have to worry about the scheduling and none of that. You just show up and kick ass.
Oh man, it's night and day, dude. Like captaining is it's painful, I will say. So salute to all the captains out there, man. But comparatively, dude. Okay, so even though Like season 1 was pure chaos. Um, this season, the end of this season was fucking wacky in itself because I had multiple people fucking screenshotting my DMs and posting it in the goddamn Grifball chat, fucking tilting me. Hey man, let me tell anybody who's trying to like play mind games and shit in these Grifball streets, fucking don't do that, man. Like it's not cool, dude. Like, cause you're just gonna. I mean, it ended in at the end of the day, it ended up just tilting me, dude. I was like borderline, like fuck finals, dude. I was just, you know, I almost gave up, like mentally, like fuck this shit. What is all this cornball, all these shenanigans going on? I got people now. My captains, I got Shrek posting my fucking DM, and then I got my captain posting some shit I said in our group chat. I'm like, dude, what is this? Feeling like a tool type shit. But at the end of the day, whatever, man. I just sucked it up and
Yeah,
we won it.
it was
It fueled
certainly
me.
it was certainly a more controversial season this season than last. Last season was boring, I would even say, in comparison. So it was
Oh
a
yeah,
lot more drama and a lot more juiciness. But I see what you're saying. Manufacturing it just to get some hype, that's probably not the way to
dude,
go about
right?
it. Uh,
No, it's not.
but
Not cool.
the next one I got is it ties into sort of the having Shrek on your team last season. So the question is, how big was it to have sort of that father son matchup in the ship? You played so well together last season and played so well against each other this season. So, how was it going into the ship knowing that a player you helped last season in their second season was in a championship?
Man. Oh, dude, it felt like I couldn't have asked for a better fucking finals, to be honest. Because it's like you said, I gave birth to my young son Shrek. Um, I gave him life. Shout out to Shrek, by the way.
Definitely.
Um, yeah, man, it was almost surreal, dude. Because I would have never anticipated that we'd meet in the final. Like we were joking, like at the beginning of the season, like, oh, see you in the finals, haha. Not like fully confident, like and then it just ended up happening that way. And it also gave me fuel. Like, dude, I gotta beat my son, man. I can't let him surpass me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he had the potential to do that. I just feel like, you know, our teamwork was just unparalleled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought it was funny at the start of playoffs that Shrek changed his username to playoff mode activated, and then you put championship mode
Yeah,
activated.
yeah. I put final form or whatever.
Oh, Final Form,
Yeah,
that's what it was.
yeah.
That's right.
I did that
Championship
to
acquired
counter
was
him.
after it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, just subtle mind games. Whatever.
Definitely. It definitely made for some entertainment, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Uh, the next question is what do you do to remain the right amount of aggressive in game, but unpredictable too?
Man, I think I'm just actually retarded and like like I'm not even kidding. Like I'm so aggressive and impatient. Like it now it's to the point to where I can challenge almost anybody. Like, okay, for example, say I'm sprinting from spawn. You and me are sprinting from spawn, Plex, and we're just going head to head. And if we just don't stop or back up or anything, I feel like I'm gonna get the kill 8 times out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Against anybody. That's how confident I am in like my aggression. But and it works like a lot of the time. But people like the goat ace or even like people like Shrek or Snipes, Sab, people like that. Um, they kind of figure out that play style and just like counter it. So I acclimate to backsteppers like that as well. And I just tart out and just mix shit up on the fly. To be honest, I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, I would say that probably counters more of the passive tank like myself or Snipes or Sab that has a good backstep because I know when I play against you you're aggressive. I know you're probably
Hmm.
gonna rush and kill me, but that don't mean I can fucking stop it. You know,
Hmm.
I know it's coming, and you're probably gonna do it, but it just happens anyway. I just don't get the swing down fast enough. So I'm sure you get a lot of kills that way, no doubt.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh, the last question I have will be kind of a question for both of you. I remember talking to Infection and him telling me that after he drafted you, that you really wanted to wear on your team again from playing with him last season. How much of an
Hmm.
impact do you feel having him for a second season in a row to build chemistry between you two have for your championship run?
Man, that was also part of it. Like, my decision was like, we already have a season together, and I already know like his temperament. I feel like our temperaments are pretty similar, and like I don't know, we just already have chemistry or had chemistry, and also I know Aware is just a sleeping beast, man. Like he was only going to get better. Like it's not like he was going to get worse or anything. At that time after the first season, like I already knew what he was capable of and what he could, improve on and shit. And he did just that. Like I think he had almost as many kills as I did, if I'm not mistaken. Like overall in the season, which is fucking insane, especially as an EU. So yeah, where was that was a no brainer for me. Like, you know.
And it's crazy as well how close it was to not happening because of the time. The time difference is with
Oh
you
yeah,
only being able to play, after 9:30 Eastern most days. Because
yeah.
I think it was you that DM'd me before Infection about it, and we kind of came to the conclusion that it probably wouldn't work just because of how
Yeah.
late the games would have to be.
Yep.
But then I think Infection DM'd me a bit later, was like, "Oh, we really want you. Would you be willing to do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, maybe." And then I've ended up doing every game.
Hell yeah.
But no,
And I'm
like
grateful for it.
honestly, Spank is one of my favourite people to play with, even though he does get tilted sometimes. But
Oh yeah.
I feel
You
like
already know.
it's good in a way because, like you said, we had that chemistry from last season, which is rare in a draft league to have, you know, directly the next season to be playing with the same person. We do definitely. There were definitely some games I think Spank talked about before in that, like towards the end of the regular season, where things not unravelled for us, but didn't go as well. Where I think me and him got a bit tilted in games, and we kind of
Hmm.
our tilts fed each other, and that didn't help as a team.
Yeah.
but the good thing was though that I felt because we had that a bit of a relationship built up, and I mean, was it just between me and Smack? It was between all of us. Like it never became personal when we got tilted. Like we never got angry at each other, or very rarely we did.
Hmm.
It was never a case of us arguing about anything for the most part.
Yeah, I'm
I think the
fueled.
close.
I'm fueled by self rage, so I might get mad at dying and stuff like that, but I'll never be pissed off at somebody else in game for making a mistake or anything. I'm usually mad at my own mistakes, and that fuels me.
Yeah, the closest I got to getting pissed off at everyone else was. Oh, it wasn't really ever, Hell Spank's Infection's fault. It was the Time for COD scandal of
Oh,
2024. That
oh,
game was just honestly pushed me to my limit. That whole series, with the underhand tactics that were going on there for a novices team.
yeah, that was
But
the playoff bracket was definitely crazy, and I just feel like with after Infection drafted Spank and then also Hells. I mean, in the fourth round, you want a good, solid role player, and I think Spank knew you'd be able to fit the bill and give the team whatever they needed. But I don't think anybody could have predicted you having the season that you had. It was
Fucking
just the,
insane.
the the matchup that you had against the other fourths this season and even third round or second round players was just nutty. Like the matchups are just crazy with y'all's team. You just never really know what y'all are gonna bring. So, uh, I
yeah,
also wanted to let y'all know a couple of fun facts that I figured out about this season. So I figured this out before, but not only did y'all win the championship, but you're also the only team that had all 4 of your players on the top 25 AGLA list.
Hell yeah.
So I know Spank was number 5 and Aware was number 25. And honestly, being number 25 felt too low for you, Aware. It seemed too low, but after adding up all the average ranks and all that, and I'm just saying, this guy has to be 25. People are going to fucking riot if he's not on this list, because I made sure of it. I made sure you had to get that,
Yeah.
but it still seemed like you're too low. It seemed like you should have been 20 or 21 or something like that, but still, either way, I find that to be impressive. And also, something else I realized about the playoff bracket is Novice's team is the only team that had more Season 1 players than Season 2 players to make it that far into the playoffs. Both teams that went into the championship had 2 Season 1 players and 2 Season 2 players. Wild, huh?
That is kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I never even thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the teams that had people that didn't play last season were the ones that made it the furthest. Yeah, it's almost like they knew they were going to have to practice more or something. They had to get the grind in. But I'm not sure what it is, but that kind of ties back into the next part we're going to talk about is the playoff bracket. And, well, it was definitely a wild playoff bracket. But we'll just kind of touch on y'all's run through it. First round, y'all played against Angry Duck Noises. It was probably wasn't the closest playoff series out of all the brackets, because Angry Duck Noises kind of had a roller coaster season, up and downs, and but they made it to the playoffs in a pretty crazy season, and y'all beat them in 2 games. But the notable one is when you're talking about Buff Oily Men and Women. That was crazy, because I was a part of that, at least in 1 game, and that was a wild playoff series for about 30 reasons.
Yeah, I mean, Angry Duck Noises, I don't know how they got the 6th seed, because they weren't a great team. But, credit to them, because they've obviously picked up the wins and everything, but yeah, the novice game was just... It's frustrating, because when we were actually in the games and playing them, they were really fun games. Like, they were really good, close games against a really good team. But it was just all the crap outside of it, whether that, Novice and Sev assure me that none of it was intentional gamesmanship, so I'll take them at their word. But it's just frustrating that there was all the stuff around the games during that series rather than just the actual games.
Yeah, man, like Angry Duck. Wait, wasn't that where all that contention was with Gingy's team or something?
Yes, at the end of the regular season, Angry Duck Noises didn't want to delay a game because they wanted to use Mav, and Gingy wanted them to use another sub, but Jester didn't want to use anybody but Mav and ended up forfeiting. Well, what it was, they had 2 games and they each forfeited one of them. So it was kind of a 1-1 deal.
Okay. Yeah, man, they were, I don't know. Shout out to Matt for, going lights out. He went fucking absolutely insane in that series. And shout out to Kalik. Fucking love Kalik. Yeah, dude, versus Novice. Oh, man, they gave us a run for our money for sure. Like, Novice is obviously top 5 easily. I think he's always going to be top 5. Like, even though he didn't have that good of a season, I would say comparatively to season 1, he's still like one of the best players. Who else is on that team? Silly.
Yeah, it was Sev and Zilly didn't show up a lot.
Sev.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, like, I told this to Novice, like, if Silly would have practiced, like, he could have been, oh my god, an absolute fucking menace. Like, man,
yeah.
we could have lost. Dude, if Silly was practiced and vetted, like, come playoffs, like, oh man, it would have been a serious problem. But wait, who else was it? It was Sev, Silly, Novice, and
Command Station
Command.
and Game
Right.
Zo was their fifth.
Yeah, Command had to go play fucking Call of Duty. Right. That's what it was. Hey,
Hashtag
Command,
time for
fuck you,
COD.
dude.
Hashtag
Piece
time
of
for
shit.
COD. If I end up captain
Actually,
next
sorry,
season,
Flex. Gotta go. I got a game to catch.
if I end up
Got some
captain next
domination to play.
season,
Yeah, no
if I end up
problem, man.
captaining next season, my team is going to be called Time for COD.
Time for I love it.
It's
All right,
just
you
the
better
newest
pick
Griff
me
meme.
Pick
and
me up.
It's the newest Griff meme. But yeah,
But
I do
it
agree that if Zilly would have played more, I mean, when he played with Novice, they played good together in the games that he could play. He had a high grade and everything,
Yeah.
so they would have kind of been that twin towers, sort of that, Ace and Zim, Shrek and Snipe, Infection and Spank, that kind of thing. That they could have been that easily.
Yeah, and the thing is, I thought from just those couple games playing against Command, I think if they'd committed to the season and played, I think they would have been quite good. Because in our playoff series, even though they hadn't played in weeks, mechanically as a runner they were quite good. It was just that game sense with lack of experience which kind of let them down. But I think if that team of Novice, Sev, Zilly and Command had played all their games and done a few scrims outside of it, they would have beaten us. Or, it would have been a really, really tough game.
Really close, yeah.
Well,
I mean, it was a tough game anyway.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. That's a fact.
My thing is, what I don't understand is if Command planned on running, why did they draft Sev to run? That was my big question mark, because if they already had a runner set up, then why draft a runner? They could have just maybe picked me and went for a fourth tank, or or somebody like that to fill in as a tank, But instead they got Sev because I don't know if they wanted a backup runner, but I find it funny that Novice made it to the semifinals both times, when he was a captain and when he wasn't a captain and was forced to be a captain. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a top player for sure.
The forever captain, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's tough. That's so tough.
Like Ace. I mean, Ace has to help draft his team and stuff like that. He's kind of always a co-captain in a way, but yeah, it was a wild playoff series for sure to get to watch all those games, and the series that y'all had against Shrek, obviously for the championship, a 5-game series. That's a lot of playing. You had to play 4 games. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of big clutch moments and whatnot. So it was definitely one of the most anticipated ships in recent memory that I can remember, as far as the shit talk and the drama and just the how good the teams were and whatnot. I mean, I can't remember a time whenever it was that hype. So definitely shout out to y'all for that one.
It was a weird one because I don't get where all the shit talk came from. Because obviously up until the ship, like us and them were scrimming quite a lot back and forth. So I don't know why it suddenly became quite.
They were trying to tilt us. Yeah, they were trying to tilt us, get in our heads. Yeah, plot twist didn't work. Sorry, fueled me. But no, it was fun though. It was good.
Yeah, it was a really fun series.
Fun
that playoff series was really good.
The nastiest team with the nastiest team name, except at least for this season. But the next thing I only got a couple more things to go over here, and then we're gonna go on to shout outs and just go ahead and end it here. I want to talk about Pop-Tart bringing back Late League, and that's going to be starting on July 7th, and it's going to run every day for the first week, and then it's going to be selective days, and I'm going to be doing giveaways for that. So if anybody who plays in those first 2 weeks will be entered into a giveaway, trying to push people towards that way we have something to do in the off season. And then I also wanted to touch a little bit on all the work that Deathcrawler has been doing on the new game type, and doing a lot of testing. He has some really cool stuff if you haven't played it yet. He's can basically go in and fine-tune a lot of the settings. So he's been working on a lot of stuff to improve our game type, and it's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I haven't got the chance to play it yet, but all the feedback seems to be really, really positive about it.
Yeah, it's just the little things. Like if you get a triple kill, you burn red. Like you literally have fire on your Spartan, and it's red. And if you get an overkill, it's blue flame. So you can see on the court at any time who's got a triple kill or an overkill. It's just a little thing like that that's really cool. And then I know he's also found a scoring method to add passing medals in, uh, or some other medals, catching passes for goals or throwing passes for goals. So that's really cool that he can do that, and I'm glad he wants to. So shout out to him.
Yeah, even like the fucking when the ball turns over, whenever the ball gets dropped or picked up, it makes like a little chime noise. Like you just little stuff like that is just so nice. I love it.
Yeah, I love the.
Shout out to Death.
Yeah, I love it to death, huh?
I love it to death.
Yeah, it's just cool to see all those
Absolutely.
little quality of life changes. It's really nice. But well, yeah,
Is that the game mode? Is that the game mode that's going to be in late league?
yeah,
In that one?
it's
That one.
currently being tested a lot. He's added like hammer physics or low gravity to it, just testing that out and testing this, that, and the other out. I'm sure it's gonna change over late league, but it'll be good for testing to figure out what people like. Because some people like the season one sword, where you had to back up as a hammer to kill them, and some people like the season two sword, where you could charge forward with the hammer and kill them. Um, I see people like the low gravity or the normal gravity, being grounded, messing with equipment, stuff like that. There's so much. Like we've never been able to tweak a game type to this detail. It's always been changing percentages in the settings of base speed and other crap like that, you know. And
Hmm.
this is the first time we've been able to go into, fine tune it. And I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff. I don't really know how it works. I just know that Death can get it to work. So that's what I like about it. But well, boys, that's really all I have. The only thing that we have left is for each of you to do your shout outs, whoever you want to shout out or call out, or even if you don't. But I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna shout out you two for coming and recording this with me. This is definitely a fun podcast, a different one to do, a little bit more off script, and I want to give a special thanks to Digital Pain and all the work that he
Hell
does
yeah.
for his automation. Basically runs our league, so big
Yeah,
shout out to that
definitely.
guy. Doing stuff behind the scenes. We everybody appreciates your work. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna
He's a
go ahead.
great dude as well.
I'm
Nice
gonna,
guy.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it to y'all and let you say what you got to say.
All right, go ahead, Aware, because I got a lot of shout outs.
I've got a few as well. So obviously I'll start off with the rest of my team aren't here. I know Infection's cut a bit of a controversial figure of late, but I feel like the side of playing with him is completely different to the public side of him, and he's been a great captain to play for. So he deserves a shout out. Hell's get some flack because of the crazy stuff they've tried and not pulled off all the time, but they're by far and away the best runner in the league this season, I think, and should be a first round pick next season. Go shout out my EU boys, Reyes and Sev, because it's nice for an EU player to win a championship. And I think the other person I want to shout out is, I think is important because we didn't really touch on the other side of the bracket to say how well Death's team played to finish as the 8th seed, and like we're literally a 2-goal swing in that semi-final game, losing 5-4 to being in the final. So yeah, they were great. And to be fair, everyone who played the season actually was fantastic. It was, like I said at the start of the episode, it was literally probably the most competitive season I've played in a long time at least. Like so evenly matched. There was only 1 or 2 teams that weren't in contention for playoffs, and out of the 8 teams in the playoffs, I do think any team could have won it. So yeah.
Yeah, Operation Doomsday they definitely fought in there. I don't think I'm pretty sure people knew they were going to make the playoffs, but I don't think people thought they would fight as hard as they did, and they got it upset in the first round, and they battled it out with Shrek's team. They pushed them to the limit in both of those games, so that was crazy.
I was not surprised about the upset though, because I said it Said it to our team before. KD's team were the biggest frauds in Grifball history. They did not deserve that record. They were rubbish. Compared to the other teams, the fact that they were the number 2 seed, I don't know how it happened. I mean, I shouldn't say rubbish because they clearly did something that worked, and fair play to them. But I don't know how they got there, and I was proved right when they got knocked out.
Dude, KD's team was really good, man. Like, salute to them.
Yeah,
shout out to them.
No, they were good. They had a way of playing that worked for them and got them wins. I mean, when we didn't have health in that game, they absolutely destroyed us.
You're right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we didn't have hells, like you said. So, yeah, man. Is that it for you? Because, man, I'm about to rant.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Well, shout out my team, obviously. Infection. That man he is a handful, I will say. A weaponized, autistic, fucking powerhouse. But at the end of the day, he was a great captain, I will say. Minus that little spout we had where he left mid-season, but yeah, he was a great captain. Salute to him for that. Very well organized and all that. I mean, well, except for we forfeited a game or two. I don't know, something got lost in the saw. Whatever, man. That's nuance. But he did a great job. Obviously, kudos to Aware. That's the homie. He did fucking phenomenal. A true tank, a tanking mosquito. Shout out to Hells. Top tier, peak runner. Right up there with Mav, I'd say. Shout out. Shrek, dare I shout? No, I'm just kidding. Even though Shrek outed me on some bullshit, on some fuck shit, and I still love him as a son. It's all good, man. Just don't ever do some shit like that again. Nobody ever do that again. Nobody ever do that, period, moving forward, please, let me tell you. It just doesn't. It does you a disservice in the end. It just backfires, trust. So shout out to Shrek, great player, insanely. That man improved. What was he, top 3? Holy shit.
He was number 3, on top 25
God damn.
players.
I would have never thought that. Good lord.
Yeah, Shrek's improvement this season was insane. Like I said, he was good last season, but he's put in the effort and he's genuinely became one of the best players this season.
Yeah, man. Snipes, fucking god tier tank. That man was literally my kryptonite. Him and Sab, dude. I don't know what it is. They're just fucking backstepping kings, man. They just have it down pat to the point to where their timing and range management is just unparalleled. So shout out to Snipes and Sab for being some of the best tanks in the league. Shout out Cosmos. That man is a true kindred soul and a great player. I'm telling you, dude, next season Cosmos is going to be, that man might be S tier. I'm not going to lie to you. Shout out KD's team, even though Aware said that you guys were frauds and dog shit. I see what he's saying. As in you guys have a specific play style, and if that doesn't work, then you guys just get rolled, which I do think is true. But I will say you guys are a great team, though, and you guys put up one hell of a fight. And yeah, the team chemistry was just on point. Mungo, unpredictable fucking psychopath on the court. KD, calculated, smooth plays. Sab, god tier tank. S tier, in my opinion. List was a maniac. Yeah, that was a great team. Oh man, I'm shouting everybody out at this point. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Shout out Big Plex, man. This dude, man, what? Giving us content, going out of his way, giving us content, and just being a great personality. Man, I could listen to Plex talk all fucking day, to be honest. So shout out to Plex for doing the Lord's work. Shout out Pop Tart for keeping Late League alive and keeping this this off season moving, you know. And whoever else is involved with that, I'm assuming No Plex are involved with that too, and a whole bunch of other people. But so shout out to Pop Tart. Also, shout out to Pop Tart for fucking getting so many people to sign up, man. Holy shit. Shout out to Spence for being for just keeping this community alive, essentially. So that's the fucking man right there.
Definitely.
100%. He kept this shit alive. Dude, we were in his backpack for 2 seasons. So give that man his fucking praise.
We would not be here
Honestly.
without Spence, 100%.
Literally, we wouldn't be here without Spence. So major shout outs to him. Shout out to Digital for laying out the fucking groundwork, the platform, you know. I teamed with Digital, like, I picked him, what was it? It was an H4 tourney. Was it like last year or some shit? I think Sko ran it. The irony of that, too, which is crazy. But I picked Dig as my first rounder. Yeah, he was such a nice guy, cool guy, chill, down to earth. So shout out to him, man, being a good guy and laying out the groundwork, foundation, creating the game mode and all that shit. And I think that's about it. I feel like I've been talking for like 30 minutes straight. Sorry.
Hey, man, you just wanted to thank a lot of people. Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once again, thank you guys for coming and joining me on the podcast, and I thank you for your kind words. I try to do what I can to give the community a little something different and a little content, and podcast was something I always enjoyed doing, so I'm definitely having a good time doing it. So, yeah, so I guess the next podcast that we'll have will be in the preseason stages of next season, whenever that comes around. Otherwise, we might have some kind of special podcast for Late League. I'm not sure. Got to talk to Pop Tart about that. So, but yeah. Once again, thank you guys for coming and joining me on the show, and I hope everybody enjoys the listen. And see you next time.
Later.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Oh, shout out Dad.